So this is a St. Stephen Spotlight, and today we are visiting with Fran and Bob Dieter, and they have a questionnaire with them, and they'll visit with us for a little bit so you all can see how they're doing. And the first question is, how have the two of you been?
Good.
We're fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're sticking with the safe at home. We do go to the grocery store. We did get together on Mother's Day with our kids at safe distances, but that's the first time that we had been in the same room with them since we left for Florida in February. So it was kind of nice.
Okay, so what's the most challenging thing that you faced during all of this?
Isolation. And, missing being with our family and friends in person, and, just kind of lack of stimulation. We're both used to being really busy, and things have just kind of come to a stop.
In the midst of all that, have you seen anything that has given you hope or made you smile?
Well, I looked on the computer and look at the funny, what are the memes or whatever they call those things? Because I like jokes and I like to smile, and so I look at those and then I say, "Hey, look at this one," and I get it to her to look at it, and she goes, "Okay."
So I also have the question of who else from St. Stephen you've had a chance to visit with. Have you have a chance to visit with anybody, or over the phone or email, or anybody else from St. Stephen that we would know?
Well, I'll go first. Because we had to finish a project on one of our co-rentals, Tom Martela and I were together for a couple of days painting a garage. And so I found out how he was. They were getting along fine, but they were not totally in touch with what was going on, as far as even that you were recording Sunday mornings, but Tom's not a digital guy. But one of the things I knew was coming up, and did happen while we were working, parents. So Tom and Joan now have a little boy,
Yeah.
A little boy whose name is Oliver.
Oh, I didn't know that either. So that's great. Well, we can add Oliver to the prayer, and his family, and Tom and Joan to the prayer list, and try to remember to give them a call. The two of you are sort of from all over the place. I know that you've lived, I think, in Chicago and Atlanta, but I don't remember when you came to Stowe and how long you've been in Stowe and around St. Stephen. So any background on that?
We moved back to the area in 1979, and we joined St. Stephen in 1984. We had a little trouble finding a church. We didn't recognize the fact that we had come from such a conservative area. So it took a little time for us to find our...
This was the conservative area. We came from the South, and it was not nearly as conservative as when we got back up here.
Oh, that's surprising. So the two of you are Lutherans. You've been Lutherans before you joined St. Stephen, right?
I was born and raised and baptized and raised a Lutheran, and grew up in the area and went to Trinity Lutheran downtown until I was a teenager, or till I was out of school.
Okay.
I kind of grew up in an unchurched family, but then when Bob and I met at Kent State when we were both in college, and he asked me to start going to church with him, and I just knew from the first that this was a home for me.
Okay. So since 1984, give or take, you've been attending St. Stephen, and one of the questions that I sent to you was about what you like about, what you've enjoyed the most about St. Stephen.
the community aspect of it, we felt right away that we were a part of a community, a worshiping, serving community. And I like the fact that Lutheranism is, we have strong roots in Lutheranism at St. Stephen. And so that's, you know, that's what has encouraged us to be a part of the community.
Okay. Is there, what would you say you would like to see St. Stephen do even better? You know, in the near future, one of these days, as time goes on, we'll regather, and our gatherings will hopefully increase in size, and we'll get back to seeing one another. You've talked about you know, our link to being Lutherans and the sense of community at St. Stephen. Have you seen churches doing anything during this time, or have any hopes for what it might look like when we get all back together?
We can get better coffee.
Huh.
That's his opinion.
We use we have Equal Exchange Coffee, and I don't know. It's part of a rite of passage for it to be very Lutheran coffee, right?
Anyway, I just had to throw that in.
It's fine.
I think when we get back together, it's going to be tearful because we've missed it so much, and I just miss the whole worshiping experience. Even though I think what we've had on Sunday mornings has been just, you know, wonderful, but it does not replace, mm-hmm. you know, sitting beside someone worshiping together. And I totally understand why we've done what we've done, and I agree with it completely. But nothing replaces communion. And in fact, Bob and I have been thinking of communion strategies, how we can go about that in a safe manner. But nothing replaces worshiping together.
Yeah. And where you talked about the strength of St. Stephen being the community, which is a pretty common idea, I think. It means that we're getting hit in one of the places that is so important to us at St. Stephen, when we're not able to be community the same way. It's kind of hitting us right where we our wheelhouse or whatever. So I know that it's been hard for everybody to not be together, and I could hear it and see it in your voice and in your face when you talked about it. So I'm down to the last few things on here. One of the things I wanted to ask about is how we can pray for you all. How the congregation. I mean, we talked about how we can pray for Tom and Joan, who you've spoken to. But is there anything that you all would say is the thing that we could pray for you all for?
Well, I think, you know, to pray for our kids, who, you know, both of our daughters work in healthcare, and, you know, are in kind of tenuous situations, and especially Chris working in a nursing home. And, you know, our son's school that he is clinical director of has closed for good. And so he and the director are trying to reinvent the wheel. And although he seems pretty positive about it, but, you know, it's a difficult situation. And to just think that, you know, our society could turn on a dime, that's a scary thing. But, you know, I think pray for our kids.
Okay. Chris, and you might have even have said it, but could you remind me of your son's name?
Steve.
Chris and Steve, okay.
And Kathy's our oldest.
Chris, Steve, Kathy. Okay.
Yeah. Kathy works at University Hospital. But she's not front line.
It doesn't hurt to pray for her too, still, though. I mean, I think the pressure...
Those are all very stressful environments, even if they're not, you know, Kathy doesn't take care of patients on the floor anymore. She works in clinical trials, but those are still the whole environment is very, very stressful for both girls.
So, in wrapping up, I know I asked a lot of things that are hard to think about, things that you're missing, things that have been challenging, and, even asking about prayer requests. These are all kind of hard things to think about. And I always felt like when I do these, I'm hoping to sort of leave with a high note. So the last thing that I have on the sheet, and Bob already hinted that he might have a good one, is if you have, Fran, I know you're a reader, so if you have a great book recommendation, or Bob, if you have a joke, I kind of want to, for better or worse, sort of leave on a high note if we can. We will add these prayer requests and still think of you all. But a book recommendation or a joke, what do you all have to let us go out feeling hopeful?
Go ahead.
Well, for starters, believe it or not, during this extremely alone time, she hasn't been reading as much. She plays a lot of solitaire. She's become addicted to solitaire. That's my opinion. As far as a joke, there's a bunch of them out there, but my favorite one is about the homeschool, the mother who's homeschooling her kids, and she put out that she had to suspend both students, and the teacher got fired for drinking on the job.
That's sounds like a pretty much a sign of the times right now. So this is Fran and Bob Dieter, and they were willing to be the first of the St. Stephen Spotlights. And I appreciate the two of you joining us and giving us an update. We will remember the two of you, the Martelas, and your kids, and we will look forward to that day when in person we're able to gather and reconvene and feel the community of St. Stephen again. The hope and the promise is that it's out there somewhere. It's going to happen. So we just need to be patient and mindful, and we'll get there. So thank you guys. Anything else before I turn us off?
Nope, just everybody stay safe.
All right. Thank you.